Hey, what's up guys? I'm iSmiles, Izzy, whatever you want to call me, and welcome to our very first official Smile Scale weigh-in, where we take a project that I kinda like, maybe kinda don't like, and we just really weigh in on it and see what's going on. Now if you're new here, the Smile Scale goes from -5 to 5. -5 meaning I would rather buy whatever the fuck this is than invest in the team and vision, and a 5 meaning I think a project is trying to change the space, move it forward, and it's just a good long-term investment overall. Now, intros aside, today we're looking at Pixelmon, which I gave a 5 on the Smile Scale about 2 weeks ago. Now, this is a project recently showered in a lot of controversy, as well as a lot of ETH, baby. Cyber's making some bank. Woo! $73 million. No, but seriously, this project has the NFT space's timbers absolutely shivered. With over 200k on Twitter and just one of the most hyped followings we've ever seen so far, this project's floor price is nothing like expected, at least from my end. And I mean, that's especially considering the Dutch auction sold out at like 2.5 ETH or something. And this isn't just for nothing. Pixelmon's done a lot of things wrong, and I've been noticing it ever since I joined their Discord when it had under 1,000 members in it. As I said before, since I have such high hopes for this project, I'm gonna be very critical of it. And to start off my gripes, I want to talk about their AMAs. Pixelmon might go down in non-fungible history as having some of the most underwhelming, misleading, and just confusing AMAs of all time. For example, they had this AMA set up like 2 weeks ago, I think, and I mean, they were hyping the shit out of it. Had a counter on the website and everything. And not gonna lie, shit even had me hyped. Had me sitting in my fucking math class. I had one AirPod in, trying to cover that shit with one of my hands, just community guys. NFT. I can't show you guys. Release. Game coming soon. This AMA was just bad. The best way I can describe it is Cyber talking like a kid on Christmas morning for 3 hours with pretty much no new info, just no new anything. Like, just nothing was there to garner a, I think it was like a 15-day countdown. They were treating this shit like an advent calendar for Christmas Day. The only real event that even happened was Cyber apparently showing some influencers a sneak peek of gameplay live, which didn't make any fucking sense to me. That's like setting up a play, advertising it, all that stuff, and then when it comes time to perform it, doing it with the fucking curtains closed. Who even knows if there was any gameplay? The whole thing was just a bad look. And even if there was any info to be shared in an AMA, it always seemed like it was heavily subject to change. I remember a while back during one of their earlier AMAs, they explained the entire minting process. It was supposed to be a 0.1 mint for non-alpha trainers and a 0.05 mint for alpha trainers, and then a Dutch auction for the public with a much smaller supply than the mint list. And then Azuki minted out a 1 ETH for their Dutch auction, and Cyber was just like, major bag alert, major bag alert, bag. So dude did a little fuckery and ended up making $73 million off the mint. And you know, I'm sure after an event like that, no other projects are gonna get big old money bags in their eyes and start trying to fuck around with Dutch auctions. Major bag alert, major bag alert, bag. Now, another example of a terrible AMA was the one they had like 2 to 3 days ago. It was a 15-minute long scripted mess that sounded like Cyber was being held at gunpoint for the entirety of it. And once again, no new info. It was just a summarized update that the team wasn't rugging and that new stuff was still on the way. Now, I'm not sure what they could have included in the AMA, but again, that's not my job and I don't have $73 million riding on a Twitter space. Now on to how they did their community. This was a 10k collection and they only had like 2,300 whitelist spots. Like, this to me is just wild. People were slaving away for this whitelist, and Cyber was just like, nah, we getting this motherfucking bag. Now, I will say they did implement a last minute thing called the Pixel Pass for people that didn't get on the whitelist. Now, the Pixel Pass lets people play the game during its alpha, like you could do as well if you had the Generation 1. It just doesn't give you any of the added benefits that maybe someone who believes in the project should get. So pretty much, they realized that a lot of people still deserved whitelist, but really couldn't give it to them because they wanted this Dutch auction to sell out at 3 ETH with a 7,500 supply. Now, a better way to do this would have just been to give away more whitelist spots to their highly dedicated community, and then had a public sale for the Pixel Passes if people still wanted those. Or give even more whitelist spots away to their community even after the increase for the Generation 1 and just make even more people happy. This entire thing was just terrible planning, and it reflects in everything that's happened since Mint. All solved by just being a little less greedy. The team is also not publicly doxxed still, but apparently Cyber has privately doxxed himself to some influencers, so that's a step in the right direction at least. Alright, enough of my dislikes, let's get back to why this project is still a 5 on the scale. So Pixelmon is still trying to do something great, and if they can get it out before the big boys from Epic, Respawn, and other established companies hop into DeFi gaming, they have a chance to make a huge impact and just push the envelope on Web3 gaming overall. They're trying to make a fun game, playable regardless of NFT ownership. And this is the most important thing. If this game really is as inclusive and fun as I hope it'll be, it's going to be huge. Because a Web3 game where people are mainly playing it to make money is at the end of the day just a Ponzi scheme. A race to see who can make the most and get the fuck out the fastest before it crashes. And it just doesn't seem like Pixelmon is trying to make that game. They have a lot of good ideas and a pretty die-hard fan base at that, if they're still around. Now this next part kind of spills over from my complaints, but this project does have $73 million to make a great game. This is now a wildly funded project, regardless of the current floor price, which still isn't even that bad. If you sold at the right time, you're making almost a 2 times off the mint, if not more. So it's not a bad floor price, just not as much as what we would have expected. So Cyber has a chance to get some crazy good people on board, and they already do have some pretty nice people on the game. Studio of Magic Media is behind it, and they've already worked on some huge games in the past. So this project has the opportunity to further increase their dev team and for real make a AAA quality game if they go about this correctly. Now if you want to only look at, quick money making opportunity and floor price, there's still some opportunity here as well, I think. Holding a Gen 1 gets you a lot of opportunities before the game even comes out. You get a piece of digital real estate in the game, a token airdrop before everyone else, and what's described as a better version of the Pixel Pass that I mentioned before. So here's the verdict. If you have a Gen 1 and need liquidity, find a comfortable place for yourself to exit and do so, because this is a long-term hold. But if you're not in that situation, I would say stick around for all the benefits. That said though, I do see this floor dropping a little bit in the next week or so. After that, it might pop back up again a little bit before reveal, but after that, I think it'll probably shoot back down while people wait for more news to come out and just more content overall, which might take a little bit. Like, this is a game development and it takes some time. Okay, now I know it sounds like I have many more complaints than things I like, but again, I'm very critical of +5 projects on the scale, and as I should be, really. Pixelmon did have a rough mint, but they caused it themselves. Now, this doesn't mean that the project is going anywhere, it just means that it needs time to complete itself and its vision. Well, okay, that was the smile scale weighing for Pixelmon. I'll be doing more of these for projects that I don't like, ones that I do like, big, small. The smile scale doesn't see follower count, only potential. But once again, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Hope this made sense, and yeah, that's about it. Peace.